All right, folks. Hey, this is Todd Martin. I am your marine bio teacher for this year, the one year where things were different. First of all, a couple of disclaimers. First of all, I hate doing these videos. I already did one once. I said way too many times, so I decided to start over. So wish me luck. And the other part here is that you'll probably see me in the same outfit over and over again because I'm trying to do a lot of these videos on the same day. So forgive me on that. All right, so a couple of things that we're going to take care of today. I'm going to talk about why you took this class and why I'm teaching this class, introduce myself, and also do a Schoology overview for the first day here so you know where your resources are at and what the expectations are. So I'm going to play this video to start out with and just talk about the reasons that you took this class. Usually I find out that students take this class because they love marine biology, and specifically they love dolphins and they love turtles and they love whales, and they've always been interested in sharks and they've always been interested in all kinds of things, and I'm kind of the same way. I developed this course about 4 years ago because I saw a need for myself to do something that would be really enriching and fulfilling for me. My background as a kid, I loved being around the water. You couldn't get me off the lake. I fished as much as I possibly could. I still do. And when I got to college, I thought I'd become a fisheries biologist. So all of my undergraduate work, I double majored in biology and chemistry. All of my undergraduate work was leading me towards fisheries biology. Took a lot of fisheries classes. One class that I took was a class called Introduction to Coral Reefs. And actually, the class was conducted in Key West, in the Florida Keys, and we did a lot of research for about 2 weeks down in the Keys, and it was just such an eye-opening experience to me. And the marine world was just crazy, new and different and weird to me compared to lakes. Lakes became kind of boring by comparison. So ultimately, I got done with that experience and actually became a fisheries biologist and worked for the Minnesota DNR for a year. And in my experience there, my advisor set me up with teaching some classes at local high schools. And I absolutely loved teaching the stuff. And my advisor at the DNR said, "Look, Todd, you got to go in teaching. Like, you'd love it. All the interaction and all the other stuff. Nobody really cares what goes on in Lake Superior. That's where I worked. But people care about what you talk about, and you're a good speaker." And so I became a teacher, and I have not regretted it. I love doing it. I teach AP Bio as well now, and Marine Bio, and they are two of my favorite loves to teach. So this is a set of videos of students that I've taken down to Grand Cayman. This was from 4 years ago or so, and I have introduced the world of marine biology to students. It's now a little over 350 students in the last about 13 years or so. And I absolutely love it. There's a scorpion fish. They're pretty dangerous, but they're really cool to look at when you get close to them. They scoot and then they find another spot and you got to find them. So we'll see if we can find them. Here he is, right in here. So what I've done over the years is I've found that I needed to teach marine biology because I wanted to really share my passion of it with students. So here you are. I'm hoping that you're here for the same reason, that you love this stuff, that you can really enjoy it. And if you don't, I've gotten so much feedback from students that have said, "I just took this class because I needed a science elective and I absolutely fell in love with it, and you kind of changed my perspective on things." And those are rewarding experiences too. I can't guarantee you that I'm going to do that for everybody, but at the same time, this is really crazy cool stuff, and I hope to share that with you. So there we have it. All right, so we'll leave that there. Go back to my introduction here. So I'm going to go over an introduction to myself here and kind of get back here to the beginning. So you're going to learn about me here a little bit because I want to give an idea of what I'm all about. I'm going to present from number 1 here. There we go. So, like I said, grew up in Minnesota as a kid who loved fishing, and from the moment I was a little tiny kid, and being on the water. And there's some awkward years. And there's me in high school. It's prom. And there's our prom dates. Such vibrant colors, huh? Went to college at the University of Minnesota Duluth. And a couple things that are important to know about me. I'm a Chicago Bears fan, love football. I'm married. My wife's name is Nicole. You're hearing me talk about her quite a bit, actually. We have dogs as part of our family always. So this was our first dog. This was Peyton. She was a wonderful black lab. There she is on her 10th birthday. This was our next dog. This is Phoenix, who we currently have. She is 6 years old now. And we actually picked up another dog, or we got another dog this summer. Her name is Wabido. She's named after the lake that we live on in the summertime. My wife and I are both teachers, and so we have the ability to enjoy cabin for a long time. Fishing, like I said, was a big part of my life. So I fished tournaments professionally for a couple of years in there. I worked for the DNR. There's me working for the DNR for a year. I find that I have probably more pictures of fish than I have of my children, which is kind of a sad thing. By nature, I'm an introvert, but I have found that I absolutely love travel. And being an introvert as a teacher is kind of a rare thing because most of you have teachers that are extroverts. They're crazy and they're outgoing, and that's not me. So I kind of connect with students on that level too. I used to own a concrete business, and the only reason I bring it up is because teaching doesn't allow closure for a lot of things. You do one thing, and then you do the next, and you do the next, and you do the next, and you never really get a chance to kind of sit back and relax and go, look what we made. And concrete work was one of those things that was very rewarding because I could go from something that looked like this to something that looked like that. I could say, I did that, I made that. And I can still drive by that house and say, look, that's my driveway, I made that. The Grand Cayman trip, as I've already expressed, is a pretty amazing trip for me. Over the years, taken numerous people on dives and just had amazing experiences, unbelievable stuff. And ultimately, I've really enjoyed every second of it. It's a lot to plan and it's a lot to do, but it's been very rewarding for everybody involved. This is the first group that I took down. Two of these students are now marine biologists. One of them is a professor of entomology, which is like insects and stuff like that. And it's just been a great experience. So I'm going to offer the trip to you guys as well. We're hopeful to go next year as COVID starts to relax here a little bit. Here's my wife and our firstborn. Our firstborn's name is Maya, so you'll hear me talk about Maya quite a bit. I'm going to try to rifle through these kind of quickly because I know it's not exciting to watch somebody else's life here so much, but just want to give you an idea that I'm a human being and I happen to teach. Not I happen to be a teacher who sometimes is a human being. I'm a human being all the time. These are my kids. That's what really matters to me, and my family and the things that I love so much, diving, fishing, etc. So this is Maya and various stages of her life. And I don't have too many recent pictures of her. She's a lot older now. She's a senior in high school, actually. So here she is as a sophomore in high school. That's a sophomore in high school. And Maya was just a piece of cake as a kid. Tanner is our son. He's our second born, and he's been a lot more of an issue. And I don't mean that in a bad way. He just had some medical issues when he was younger. His head was always turned to his right, and it ended up he had some musculature problems on his neck, which caused some cranial issues developmentally, which caused some speech issues, which caused all kinds of other things. So he's been kind of a handful ever since he was born. He had to have a helmet to help shape his skull. He's had speech therapy, and about every other day for the first 4 years of his life, we were either going to a speech therapist or a physical therapist to work with him. So it's been a different journey with Tanner. It's been a lot more work, but just as enjoyable. Wonderful kid. Love being around him. So I really enjoy my time with my kids a lot, more than I really ever thought I would. They are something else. And Tanner is a sophomore in high school this year, so obviously there's pretty old pictures, but you get the idea that my family and I are a pretty big piece of my life. So there they are, a little bit older. This is from 2 summers ago, I believe. I'll explain more of this later, but we've always done dress ups for holiday cards. This one was like synchronized swimming. This one was my favorite one. I always share that one. It's a little bit funny and weird and awkward all at the same time. And I'll share more on that later on. But there's my family, younger, and then there they are kind of mentally. And here we are more recently. This was last summer. So that's me. All right. Now I just want to talk real briefly about what Schoology is going to look like for you guys. So what is going to happen here is that you're going to have this course named Marine and Freshwater Biology. There'll be a couple of folders here. These won't exist for you really at the beginning of the class. but there'll be general info to begin with. And a couple things I want to point out in there. There'll be a calendar that updates. It looks like this. It'll be updated almost daily and weekly with what our calendar is going to be like this year. Obviously, this is a crazy year, and I'm going to have to adjust as much as I can, but you can always look there to find out what's going on. This is our book. You don't need any access code or anything. It's just a huge PDF file. We'll be using it for a couple of chapters, not for a ton of stuff. This is the syllabus, and to be honest, it's going to be kind of up in the air. Who knows what this year is going to hold? All I know is that I'm going to be doing stuff. You're going to be learning stuff. I'm going to be assessing if you're learning it, and then we'll move on. There's a lab safety agreement. If we get back to school, hopefully we can do this lab safety agreement and be good with labs. We'll do some dissections and some explorations and some other hands-on activities. I really look forward to doing them. The Grand Cayman info sheet and a Grand Cayman application. If you care to learn more about Grand Cayman and what it involves, there's a bunch of information there and an application to fill out if you're interested. And then the topic list, and I think that's about it really. There'll be a class survey too. So take a look at that general info folder. And then week 1 of distance learning is going to look like this, but really I'll click on it. There's going to be notes and assignments and review questions and all this stuff. But really what you need to do is on a day-to-day basis, you need to go to this and say, okay, flipped video, make a list of marine creatures. Okay, so where's that flipped video? Well, it'll be underneath the lectures notes. It's not there yet. I haven't made that video yet. And then I'll say homework, water on earth worksheet. Well, where'd that be? That would be underneath assignments. So like that's there. There's your water on earth worksheet. And then there's a place to submit it for homework. So that's basically how the course is going to work. So you'll be looking at the calendar day to day, and then hopefully it'll be clear as to which folder those things will be in. And I will make a weekly little video that says, all right, here's my expectations and here's what you can expect to do. And then weekly, a couple of times a week, if we take a look at this again, I will have live Google Meets during our class period hours. So we're officially 6th hour. So we'll do this Google Meet during 6th hour on Wednesday, and then we'll do this, later in the day on Friday. So we'll discuss water and earth answers. We'll touch base. We'll say hello. We'll, reconnect here a little bit. I know I've got a number of students in there that I've had before, and ultimately that's the way this class will work. We'll continue to do live Google Meets throughout here to try to get some face-to-face interaction, at least through a computer screen, as much as possible until we can hopefully get back to hybrid. Realize that one big looming thing here is I'm hoping to have a test on the second day of actual in-person school. That'd be test 1. And that's going to be a lot from chapter 2 and the lectures that I make. So ultimately, that's it. That's what you need to know for class. I hope it answers a bunch of questions for you, and I hope it introduces myself pretty well. Look forward to working with you guys, and we'll see you once class begins. Take care.